When my father passed away, I thought grief would be the hardest part. I was wrong, because nothing cuts deeper than betrayal, especially when it comes from your own blood. There were two of us, me and my brother Daniel. Growing up, Dad raised us on values, honesty, hard work, family first. At least that's what I thought. But somewhere along the line, Daniel forgot all that. Dad didn't leave behind millions, but what he had mattered: the family home, his old truck, savings he scraped together over a lifetime, and most importantly, Mom's wedding ring. The one thing Dad promised would always stay in the family. When the lawyer opened the will, I sat there stunned. Every asset, every dollar, every keepsake, all left to Daniel. My name wasn't mentioned once. I thought it had to be a mistake. Dad wouldn't do this, I whispered. Daniel just smirked. Guess he trusted me more. Maybe you should have visited him more often. The truth? I was the one who sat by Dad's hospital bed, who drove him to his checkups, who fixed his leaky roof when his hands were too weak to lift a hammer. Daniel, he showed up at family events. Sometimes I couldn't sleep that night. My hands shook as I reread the will over and over. Something didn't feel right, so I researched. First stop, the lawyer's office. I asked when the will had been updated. Turns out, 2 weeks before Dad died, right when his health was at its worst, when he could barely hold a pen. Second stop, the bank. I checked signatures on old documents. Dad's neat, steady handwriting looked nothing like the scrawl on the will. The more I compared, the more sick I felt. It was forged. I started building a case quietly. Copies of Dad's old signatures, medical records showing he was heavily medicated at the time, witness statements from nurses who swore he wasn't capable of making legal decisions. And then I found the smoking gun. An email from Daniel to the lawyer's assistant, pushing to expedite paperwork before Dad lost capacity. I wanted to explode, but I stayed calm, because revenge isn't about shouting. It's about precision. I waited until probate court. Daniel strolled in smug, ready to collect everything. He didn't know I'd hired a handwriting expert. He didn't know the nurse who cared for Dad was waiting outside, ready to testify. When the judge asked if I contested the will, I stood. My voice didn't shake. Yes, Your Honor. On the grounds of fraud, Daniel's face drained of color. Piece by piece, I laid it out. Side-by-side comparisons of Dad's real signature and the forged one. Testimony about his medical condition. The judge leaned forward, expression like steel. Mr. Daniel, this is highly irregular. We'll be opening an investigation immediately. The will was thrown out. Instead, Dad's estate was split evenly, the way he'd always said he wanted. Daniel didn't just lose his grip on everything. He lost his reputation. Fraud investigation pending. Legal fees piling up. And family? Every cousin, every aunt, every neighbor who once respected him turned their backs. As for me, when the court officer placed Mom's wedding band in my palm, I cried for the first time since the funeral. Not because I won, but because justice had finally spoken for Dad. Daniel still avoids me, can't look me in the eye. Last I heard, he sold Dad's old truck to pay for his lawyer. Because here's the truth. Greed might win the first round, but it never wins the fight.